New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from the Knick of Time show. Here giving you that Knicks talk just in the nick of time. And it's time to talk about a Knicks loss because the Knicks lost to the Celtics last night, 116-102. The Knicks couldn't seem to stop them offensively. The Celtics pretty much got what they wanted. But guess what? The Knicks were missing, you already know, 3 starters. We were missing Julius Randle. We were missing OG Anunoby, the guy who I felt would be the biggest, most important piece of even helping stop the Celtics. And of course, we have no Mitchell Robinson. So we're gonna talk about the game. This is the old school G and J show. All right. We're gonna talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. So let's just get to it and talk about this game. I was at a watch party last night. So I saw a lot of the game. I was kind of mingling with my fellow Knicks fans, high-fiving. Even through the loss, it was a great experience to watch, to be with the fellow Knicks fans, even though we lost. While watching it, I you know what? I didn't expect to really win, Ryan, really. But you know me, I'm a Knicks fan. So even though I didn't really expect to win, I'm like, you know what? Maybe we have a chance. Maybe we do have a chance. But as the game went along, we were in the game. We were in the game for most of the night. So I wasn't terribly upset about the loss. I just know that if whatever game we lose moving forward without Randall and without OG Anunoby, I can't really take to heart. The only way I can really take any type of loss to heart is if the effort isn't there. And if the effort isn't there and the fight is there, then I'm not going to be upset. That's kind of where I am with it and about this loss. But we're going to talk about this game. So Ryan Gino, what do you think about this game and the Knicks versus Celtics matchup?
Yeah, so I think people have to put this game in perspective. Knicks are without 3 starters. Celtics had their full lineup. Celtics are the best team in the league, best record. So to expect the Knicks to win this game is probably far-fetched. The Celtics are really good at dictating matchups, which is what they did throughout this whole game. They're good at setting screens, and then you're forcing the Knicks to switch. And then once they get that right matchup, they either go one-on-one and try to force the double team because they know it's a mismatch. And basically the Celtics, they either went one-on-one with favorable matchups and pretty much beat whoever was guarding their player by getting to the basket, or when the Knicks were forced to double team, then they would pass the ball around and get the ball to a wide open 3-point shooter. And basically that whole starting lineup can shoot threes. There's not one guy on that starting lineup that cannot shoot threes.
It's rough.
So yeah, so it's rough. So with the Celtics, you really have to pick your poison. And it was just tough for the Knicks all night. The Knicks battled as best as they can. Going into halftime, the Knicks were only down by 4 points. And they hung around for the most part. Celtics is definitely a team where the Knicks need their full complement of players.
Absolutely.
They need Mitchell Robinson healthy. They need Julius Randle healthy. They need OG Anunoby healthy to even have a chance to beat the Celtics team, because the Celtics team is really tough, especially when they were shooting the way they were shooting last night. But this game really did bring up some concerns with me, and I think I do have to mention this.
I already know where we're going, Ryan. I know everybody was thinking the same thing. Mr. Burks. Mr. Burks is
defensively. It's both Burks and Bogdanovic against the Celtics, because they don't match up well defensively against the Celtics roster. And the only way those guys can stay on the floor is if you have an OG Anunoby out there, or a Precious Achiuwa, somebody who can actually guard multiple positions and actually erase a lot of defensive mistakes. Even a Mitchell Robinson that can erase defensive errors. And when you have both of those guys out there at the same time, and you don't have somebody out there that can really erase defensive errors, it makes it really tough to guard a team, especially like the Celtics. And at least with Bogdanovic, since he's been here, Bogdanovic has shown something on offense where it's like, okay, even though he's not a great defender, you can at least count on him to score buckets.
Right.
He's gonna get you. He's gonna at least hit some 3-pointers for you. He's gonna create some shots in his own and score. So it's like, okay, he's not a good defender, but he's gonna at least score, so it kind of cancels out a bit. But with Burks, since Burks has been here, he's been a big negative because he's not producing on offense, and then on top of that, defensively, he's lacking. And Burks kind of tricked me at first because when he first came, that game against the Pacers, and he was guarding Halliburton, I thought he actually did a pretty decent job on Halliburton. Like he stuck with Halliburton as best as he can, but the only thing is that Halliburton was hitting some crazy ass shots,
Right.
and those are the type of shots where it's like as a defender, you just tip your hat to him and be like, yeah, you hit that. It is what it is. But he's kind of been slacking on defense. And my thing is this: it's like, okay, it's one thing to have one guy on the court that is bad defensively who you have to cover for. But when it's two, and then on top of that, those two players that you're trying to cover for defensively, one of them is not hitting shots and not producing anything on the offense, that makes it really tough to account for. And as of right now, and I'm trying to be patient with Burks. I'm trying to be reasonable and be like, okay, give him some time to get used to the offense and used to playing with his teammates and things of that nature. But the fact of the matter is, at this moment, if I have to choose between Burks and McBride, I'm going with McBride.
McBride, arguably, last night was the second best player on the team. Arguably, like if you could argue Josh Hart too, but poor Josh Hart. Poor Josh Hart was playing. How many minutes did Josh Hart play, man?
42.
Josh Hart played 42 minutes to the point where towards the end of the game, he had a crazy amount of turnovers. And I can't even be mad at him, man. I can't even be mad at the turnovers that Josh Hart had, because if I play 44 minutes of basketball in the style in which Josh Hart plays basketball, which is balls to the wall, 100 miles per hour, every possession is like your last possession, I would probably have a bunch of turnovers in the end too, because I'm surprised homie could even walk at the end. But that's another story. Deuce McBride probably was the second best player or third best player, however you want to look at it, last night. And he's making it extremely tough for Tom Thibodeau to just straight out discard him because of what Alec Burks and Bojan is really giving. More so Alec Burks, because Alec Burks is supposed to be the guard that's supposed to help us get into our offense more. Miles McBride, listen, he was creating his own shots last night. He was beating people up the dribble. He was getting to the mid range. He was shooting threes. He was breaking down the defense. He was doing little point guard things, little that he must be working with Brunson at night or something, because he's picking up little nuances of the game that get people open, and he's using it to his advantage, and he was able to score. So for when I'm looking at McBride, I'm like, I've been thinking, you know what, next year he might be more ready. I'm feeling more and more confident that he will be more ready next year. But even if he'll be more ready next year, he might be more ready this year than Alec Burks is right now, which is kind of crazy to say. I'm still going to be a little bit patient on Burks and how he's, how he comes along. But Burks got to step it up, man. The shot selection hasn't been there. It's the shot selection and the defense for me. Cool, you missing shots. I want you to make shots, but the shots that he's missing aren't good shots.
Nope.
They're heavily contested shots in the corner, or shots he's trying to create off the dribble and he's missing. So I don't know what's up with him. If he's pressing, is he in the garden? He's in his head. I don't know what's up, but that got to change. That has to absolutely change.
Yeah, most definitely. And I feel like with Burks, when he first came into the game, like in the first quarter, and he played some of the second, I felt like he was okay. He played within the offense. He didn't take no crazy shots. And then I feel like when the game was starting to get away from the Knicks, then that's when he started to really force it. When he, just taking ill-advised threes and trying to take his player one-on-one and just forcing up shots when the game was kind of slipping away from the Knicks. And I feel like that's when, he started to play not to the way the team is, he just started to go off on his own, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As opposed to playing within the team. But
Nah, I hear you.
but yeah, and the thing is, okay, if you're gonna, throw up shots and miss, it's cool. But at least you show up on the defensive side of the ball, and he's not doing that as well. And I've said it from jump, like the identity of this team is defense. Dibs is a defensive coach. So if you're gonna be out there, you have to play defense. And McBride, at least with McBride, it's like McBride might not be the best quote unquote playmaking point guard, but at least McBride, you know that if you put him next to somebody who can play make like a Brunson or whoever the case may be, and you have McBride play off ball and you have him play defense and be like a secondary scorer, he can do that.
Yeah.
You can at least guarantee McBride is going to play defense, even if he's not scoring the rock.
Yeah.
But with Brooks, it's like you're not scoring, you're not playing defense.
Yeah.
So why do we have you out there for?
Is Ebony likes to say Detroit Burks. He was Detroit Burks yesterday, man. He was Detroit Burks. He was not. He has not been the old school New York Knicks Burks that we grown to know and love. That's not who he's been. And I'm also a little bit concerned about Bojan Bogdanovic a little bit. Not to as much to the degree as Burks. I'm just waiting for him to really just be the guy who can. He hasn't showed up in the Garden. Does he have a Gardenitis? I don't understand. When Bojan played for any other team, he light us up. All of a sudden, he puts on a Knicks jersey and he gets cold feet when he comes into the Garden. I don't understand what's happening with that man. He feels like maybe is he scared of us? What's happening? When he's away, he's a flamethrower. I feel like he's gonna be one of those guys. He's gonna average like Jordan numbers on the road, and when he gets here, it's gonna be like bruh. I don't know. That's what it's looking like right now. What happened to Bojan?
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it seems like for now, it seems like the road games, he's definitely performing. The home games, he's kind of off. But with Bojan, at least with Bojan, I see at least glimpses. At least I see a glimpse of him actually being productive on offense and giving a spark. So with Bojan, I'm willing to be more patient with him, and also knowing that the piece that the Knicks are getting back, I'm pretty confident that if they surround him with defenders, they can hide him, and then he could just go off on offense. So I'm not really worried about Bojan. It's Burks is the one that I'm really worried about, and if Burks does not get his act together before playoff time, Dibs better go and McBride. He better.
I'm not wholeheartedly, but it's when, because there was a part in the game where the Knicks were kind of struggling to find something, and Tibbs went with like an all offensive lineup, and he played Jalen Brunson with Burks, with Bojan, and tried to get things back on track with even more offense. It did not work. It didn't work. And when it doesn't work offensively, when you have those guys offensively together, it makes it even worse. So that's kind of why I'm concerned about it. Because if you're going to put all your chips in and say screw defense, go all offense, then damn it, you better score. And it wasn't help. It wasn't beautiful. It wasn't beautiful at all. So I'm hoping that thing gets sorted out. Especially because, listen, we knew the Knicks got Bojan specifically because they were kind of worried about the timetables of when people are coming back. So we was hoping he would, help the offense, and he has last game. He had the game before. We need scoring help. We just straight up need scoring help. So that's what he's here to do. He has one bad game scoring yesterday, but when we play these teams where we need extra scoring, we just need it, because you're looking at the box score. You got the almighty Jalen Brunson, right? Where's Jalen Brunson gives you 30? First of all, Jalen Brunson gives you 34 points, 9 assists, 3 rebounds, and the shooting splits are ridiculous. 48% from the field, 44% from 3 against one of the top defenses in the league. When you're the lone official scoring threat, is freaking ridiculous. Like this is the type of games. If Jalen Brunson had this when we played the Celtics the first few times, he might have won. He might have won. But when you have a guy who's giving you 34 points and then you're looking for your next highest scorer to help you out, and the next highest scorer is who do we got? Is Josh Hart with 16? That's an issue. That's an issue. So I do give Bojan some grace, but we need him to score. And we need Alec Burks to give us more. Now, putting all this in context, I'm still not super pissed at this loss because we're still missing OG Anunoby and Julius Randle. So I'm not going out the window and going all crazy because of this loss. But these guys are brought here to put the ball in the basket, and they didn't do it yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the one thing I want people to keep in perspective. Like, yeah, we might be on the podcast ripping into one or two players or whatever the case may be, but at the end of the day, this Knicks team is not fully healthy.
Right.
You're still missing three big pieces to the puzzle. And at the end of the day, we have to kind of reserve our judgment until we see these guys come back healthy and see what the Knicks look like as a full unit when they come back.
Absolutely. Salute to the chat. Salute to Marvin. Shout out to Fritz, best spot in the game. Shout out to Dwayne Dennis. Shout out to JT Riddick, man. It's good to see you, man. And shout out to Once a Nick, always Nick as well. If you like the show, hit that like and subscribe. We're here talking Knicks basketball. We're usually here after every game. Last night I went to a Knicks watch party with Knicks Twitter and had some fun. So that's why I wasn't here live. But we're back today talking Knicks basketball. And listen, there's things that happened last night that just wouldn't happen with our full squad. First of all, OG Anunoby would probably be guarding Jason Tatum, so you're not going to get some of these looks. We couldn't stop anybody one-on-one. We couldn't. KP is not going to be posting Mitchell Robinson if Mitchell Robinson is here. KP was killing people in the post all night long. Things like that don't happen. Julius Randle wouldn't be able to get bullied like everybody else is getting bullied. Just the fact that we have a strong, sturdy players in Julius Randle and OG Anunoby together would stop a lot of the bully ball stuff that was happening with the Knicks versus the Celtics. So that stuff just flat out would not happen. Also, Precious Achulia, man, love the guy. Been great for us. Been averaging a double-double since he's been here. Diamond in the rough. People talk about how trash he was on Toronto. He got here. He's been great. Double-digit rebounding and all. The Celtics game plan was to leave him open for three. And it worked. Shrunk the floor for Jalen. Made things a little bit harder. They tried to just force us to make shots, and they kept leaving Precious open to the point where the offense looked bad when Precious was at the top of the key for three or shooting air ball, mid-range jumpers, anything that nature. We just need our pieces back.
Exactly. As simple as that. And, with OG in the lineup and Randall in the lineup, Jaylen Brown doesn't go off the way he went off on the Knicks last night. Because one of those guys would have definitely locked him up. Because if you look at the matchups, like Tatum and Jaylen Brown basically had mismatches all night.
All night long. I agree. Like even like Dante DiVincenzo Dante DiVincenzo is a decent defender. He's a really good defender, but he's not the biggest guy. So you can bully him as well depending on your matchup, and he had problems guarding as well. And he also seemed to have problems finishing this game amongst the trees. Three-point shooting was there, but he just didn't really have that pop like he usually has either. And we needed Dante to be the real Dante. Granted, he's been injured. He might be out a little bit of a flow. This is his second game back. He actually shot pretty decently from 3, 4 of 8.
Yeah.
And actually was a -5 when you look at the context of everybody else. It's not bad. -5 on the night, but we need a little bit more offense from Dante. The other thing too is I might have went with Jericho Sims more, man. I might have went with Jericho Sims more. I know it's kind of crazy, but just defensively, Jericho Sims versus Tatum. When Jericho was guarding Tatum, I feel like Tatum was having a lot more trouble.
Yeah.
A lot more trouble. And this is the part of the game where, like Ebony says, you want to freestyle a little bit. You know Sims is usually getting 15 minutes a game. He got 15 minutes this time. Precious usually gets more. He got 30. Precious got 34. I would like to see Jericho on Tatum so he's not getting bully balled, and he's switchable. He could be on the perimeter as well. This might have been a game where I'm looking at how he's doing and I'm going, you know what? You get more minutes today. I'm calling a number.
Yeah, most definitely. Because the one thing that you can definitely guarantee about Jericho Sims is that he can guard multiple positions. Like he's a big, but when he's on the perimeter, he guards like as if he's a wing. So, usually utilizing him, especially on Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, would have definitely been useful. But it is what it is. At the end of the day, the Knicks were still pretty much outmatched. And the team did the best they could.
Yeah, team get best they could. It is what it is. Yo, but look at the chat. Thank you guys for rocking with us. There is some news that has been out, and Woj just definitely dropped the bomb. He definitely dropped the bomb about the health of some of the Knicks players, and it's looking like some good news for sure. It's looking like some good news for sure, and we're gonna start with it. We're gonna start with OG Anunoby, man. OG Anunoby. It's been reported that OG Anunoby is pretty much right on schedule with his rehab of his elbow. So as of next week, I believe he'll start working out next week. Is the news that I heard from Woj. So we could be 1 week away from getting OG back, probably 2 weeks, if anything. But it looks like OG Anunoby's return is right around the corner, which is huge news for us. Also, I don't know if you saw, there's been a video circulating around Twitter of Julius Randle working out ferociously. Ferociously. He's like putting up shots. He's running full speed. He's sweating. He's going through his moves. He looks like a man who's wants to return and get to business. So I'm not sure exactly what the timeline for Julius Randle is to return, but it looks like he's ramping up his workouts, especially because I don't know. I feel like the Knicks are very intentional about what they put out. So the fact that they're even having videos of Randle running and all this stuff makes me believe that maybe he's close. Because I don't think if they didn't feel like he was close that he would do that. That's the feel. I'm no doctor. That's just the way I feel about it.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think they also had video of him before the game last night where he was working out as well and putting in hard workouts. So, but I think they said with Julius Randle, because I did read up on it, they're targeting mid-March for him to come back. So,
okay, all right. Mid-March would be okay. Mid-March is like another month. So I know we don't have our full squad, but we need Bojan. We need Bojan and Albert to step up. We need them to step up.
Yeah.
The thing is, defensively, they're not well. So even though Bojan offensively can really do some things for us, sometimes his defense might not allow us to play him as many minutes as we want. So, because even the game where we had 22 points in that second quarter, and he was one of the big reasons why we won, he didn't play in the fourth quarter. It was McBride and the small ball lineup versus the 76ers that did, because he couldn't keep up defensively. But hopefully he'll give us at least enough scoring power, or at least maybe Tiz can find a lineup that complements him more, so he can able to leave him out on the floor more. Maybe he has to experiment more. Like I said, I know Tibbs loves Precious, but maybe we should start to look at Sims more. That's just me. I just feel like Sims could actually cover I feel like Sims might be a little better at help defense. Even though Precious has been really good at finishing at the rim, and Precious is extremely good at defending as well. But I think Sims just gives us the ability to guard people who are a little bigger. I think that's what I'm really saying.
Yeah.
All right. Also, Mitchell Robinson, man. It seems like Mitch might be coming soon too. I don't know. It's looking like he's creeping up. It's looking like he's creeping up because there's been IG posts of Mitch saying that he's coming and he's ready. So I don't know what the timeline for Mitch is, but it'll be great to get all of our guys back mid-March or sooner. Because right now, March is around the corner.
Yeah.
March is really around the corner because we're already at the end of February, man. This is already, March is what, a week or two away? Be right there. Be right there. We just need to stay afloat and rack up these wins because these next games are crucial. And tomorrow we play in Detroit. We better beat Detroit. We know Grimes is going to be on his Grimes revenge game.
And Fournier.
Grimes and Fournier. Exactly. Exactly. So you know they're gonna be gunning for us, but we have to. We got to take care of business tomorrow versus the Detroit Pistons for sure. Absolutely. All right.
Yeah, most definitely. That's a must win. Cannot lose to the Pistons, no matter what.
Cannot lose. That would be bruh. I would throw my computer on some Kai Sanai if we lost to that. I'll be pissed.
Real.
My bad. I don't know why he's been in my algorithm lately. He's everywhere. But salute to the chat. Shout out to Coach Sire. Shout out to you. Shout out to Chris Alexander. Shout out to Sherwin. Salute to you. Shout out to Elixir Flow. Fritz says, nice seeing Julius taking shots on the court. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Once a Nick, always Nick says, OG on Brown. He was working my nerves. Yeah. Brown was definitely working my nerves. I don't know.
Right.
Brown wins. Brown gets to the finals of a dunk contest, and now he's feeling himself a little bit too much. I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. We need OG to get him back humble. His head too big. All right.
Exactly. When the full Knicks lineup is back, we're gonna test that left hand. We're gonna see how good that left hand.
Yeah, we're gonna test that left. Yo, Ryan G. You can't tell me every time he got forced left, it was a turnover.
Facts.
Every single time. Yo, I was screaming in the bar. I was like, force him left. I think Deuce got the memo. So I feel like Deuce forced him left and got a turnover. But it's like, yeah, man, if I was 6'7" and guarding Jaylen Brown, he would not score me. I'm telling you, man. He would not score me. Because I'll be forcing him to fade away jumpers all day long. Because the thing about people with, here's a little basketball trick. The thing about people with no left hand is whenever you force them left to keep from losing the ball, they usually end up picking up the ball and shooting fadeaways. 90% of the time. 90% of the time. It doesn't and it always, when I guard people, that usually always works. I'm telling you, yo. It would be cookies. Of course that boy left. He can't do nothing with that. He can't.
Like I remember when I used to play ball because I'm dominant right, and I wasn't too good with my left hand as well. And when I'm forced left, like like honestly, like when I'm forced left, I can only usually take like 2 dribbles.
Exactly.
Like, it's just like 2 dribbles that pull up and take the jumper, or 2 dribbles that like if I get to the basket,
exactly.
I'm throwing up like a wild layup and hoping it goes in.
Exactly. It's 2 dribbles and a catastrophe for sure.
Exactly.
For sure. See, I was ambidextrous, so you wasn't getting that with me. I could do left hand. I was do left hand, right hand. I had people guessing. Which hand is he?
You don't even know.
You don't know. I shoot right, drive left all the time. Mess people's head up. $5 super chat from Paris Duggar. Shout out to you. He says, we can't pay iHeart. He's not good enough to pay. Sims, Deuce, precious types behind Mitch. Gotta be our bench. Subs. We need to find better for that money. Things that make you go,
So are we
for the super chat? Go ahead, Ryan G.
Thank you for the super chat. But are we judging high? Are we judging iHeart for just this one game against the Celtics when he's still trying to find his feet again after being out with that sore Achilles? Or are we talking about the iHeart where before that Achilles injury who was actually balling and actually a presence on defense and actually helps out on offense with his passing? I'm trying to figure this out right now. How is it not worth the money?
I agree. I agree with you. You took the words out of my mouth. You took the words definitely out of my mouth. And iHeart has been playing phenomenally. I still have. It's funny. I definitely want to keep iHeart. I definitely do. Um, I do have a question about him though, because two things. I have two big questions about iHeart. One question is people want to trade Mitch because he's not healthy, right? He keeps getting injured. iHeart's been playing backup minutes. How sure are we that if given the minutes, iHeart can handle starters' minutes? If he has Achilles problems every year, and then we end up trading Mitch and giving iHeart the 14 million or whatever, can he handle starters' minutes? And will we just be having the same problem with a different person? I actually have that question in my mind. I'm not saying what I think Paris is I'm not faulting iHeart for having a bad game though. I'm with you on that, Ryan G. Like I think he's played well for us. I felt like when he got into rhythm, he was in a really good place defensively for us. He helped us get better defensively for sure. But I also know that it was when iHeart and OG together is when I saw the defense pick up. I'm not sure how is it when it's iHeart by himself without OG. How's the defense then? I have those questions because I know when Mitchell was here by himself, anchoring the defense, we were one of the top 10 defensive teams in the league. If iHeart is here by himself without OG, do we have the same effect? These are just questions. I don't know the answers to these questions. These are just things that I be thinking in my mind.
Yeah, and also when the Knicks went on that run in January where it was like they could barely lose. I heard it was a major reason as to why the Knicks defense was so strong with OG in the lineup. So I mean, I Heart does have value. It's not like he's been playing bad and it's like, you know what, yeah, we should just give up on him and just, let him go in free agency or whatever the case may be. Like, no, he's proven this season that he is deserving of being paid, and the Knicks doing the best that they can to keep him. We can't really just be like, we really can't just be like, look at this one game against the Celtics, especially when he's coming off an injury, and just be like, okay, yeah, he played bad against the Celtics, so let's like sacrifice him and let's let him go or whatever the case may be. Like, nah, like we can't make knee-jerk reactions off of one game like that.
Nah, I agree. I absolutely agree. Also, what's interesting to me is the Precious Achua situation because Precious Achua is definitely won the trust of Tom Thibodeau. When you have iHeart here and Mitch here, it seems like a foregone conclusion that Precious Achua will not be resigned. The only way Precious Achua will be reassigned to the New York Knicks in the offseason is if one of those guys go. So I feel like this offseason, one of those centers might be leaving. Like I think it's a foregone conclusion. And I'm wondering how the Knicks are going to approach this long term. Because we already have Sims locked up for 3 years on a cheap contract. It'll be stupid to move him with the contract he's getting and the production we get. I don't know. Knicks have a conundrum in the summer.
Yeah, it'll definitely be interesting to see how the Knicks are going to approach it.
Yeah, especially considering the fact that like our cap situation, we've been managing the cap well, thanks to Leon Rose and the capologists that we've hired. We've been managing the cap extremely well, but it's going to be hard to keep everybody that we really want That's kind of why we saw Man quickly leave before. You would think that they would definitely try to get iHeart here because we traded Man quickly partially to keep iHeart. But with Precious playing the way he is, that just makes things more difficult. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. Okay, Felicia Lee says Precious has a team option for 6.5 million. Check to see if she's right. So let me check to see if she's right.
We can definitely check that. Shout out to Paris. This is another $2 super chat says there's reasons we're the number 4 for iHeart. He's I. Oh my gosh.
Matter of fact, I just checked Precious' contract.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's gonna be a free agent after this season.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. So Precious will be a free agent after the season. Okay, so we don't have his rights or anything. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough. I can see him getting some money. I can definitely see him, some teams looking at him going, you know what, let's give him a chance. Especially if there's teams who, aren't really solidified. But man, I like him under Thibodeau. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, Thibodeau definitely knows how to utilize him properly, and since he's been with the Knicks, he's definitely grown in his game. So it's going to be a tough decision come summertime to see what direction Knicks go, and when it comes to iHeart, Precious, who they decide to keep and who they decide to let go. It's going to be interesting.
Keith Watkins says the qualifying offer is right about the same as the mid-level exception. That should be more than enough to keep Precious. Maybe we could do a mid-level exception. We gotta see what these books are looking like.
Yeah, definitely gotta check the books because I don't have the information right in front of me to really see like how that's gonna really work out money-wise.
Now, usually the teams can give somebody a mid-level if you're like right at the cap. So we might be able to do that. But I think it's really about other teams too. You know what I'm saying? It's like if other teams see the potential in Precious and want to give him a little bit more, then he wouldn't take the mid-level exception. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like if another team is more like, you know what, we see something in him, we'll give him more than mid-level, he's gone. And he'd be stupid not to take it. Especially if he gets more opportunity here, because there's definitely a center glut staying in New York. So I would think it would be really hard to keep him.
Facts. Even though he's gonna be a restricted free agent.
Restricted free agent.
Yeah, so I think it's one of those situations where it's like the Knicks could match if they want to. If he's offered a contract from a different team. But still, it's one of those things where it's like, will the money work out? Like, say, for example, a team really wants to pay him.
Right.
You know, are the Knicks going to be willing to even match that?
And based off of the way the Knicks have been operating, I would say no.
Yeah, especially if he's going to be offered some crazy number.
Exactly, because if the Knicks were thinking in that direction, then they would have done that quickly.
Facts.
So unless the match isn't as big, or maybe they try to do a sign and trade, I don't know. Maybe it's something like that. But yo, salute to the chat. See, this is when I need to have Fritz, my cap. Fritz is gonna be the KOT capologist. Fritz, shout out to Fritz who launched a little show. My bad. He launched a show. Who talked about the NBA cap. Really good information from Fritz. I'm not sure what he's doing right now. It seems like that the trade deadline was a good time to have that cap talk, but since Fritz knows the cap so well, I might have to plug him in every time we have cap questions because I know Fritz. That's what Fritz does. So shout out to Fritz, best mind in the game / KOT budding capologist. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Shout out. Well, Fritz says Knicks probably will bulk over 8 million per. They will try a sign and trade. Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty much what I was saying. They might do a sign and trade, if anything, so they don't lose him for nothing.
Facts.
Mm-hmm. Keith says Quickly was absolutely going to get more than mid-level. No, I know that, Keith. I'm not saying that Quickly wasn't going to get more than the mid-level. What I'm saying is we could technically match Quickly's worth if we wanted to. But we chose to trade him because we weren't thinking about overpaying for him in the first place, is what I'm saying. Not that we was going to give him a mid-level exception. That definitely wasn't happening. Absolutely not.
Facts.
Parrish Duggar says we need guys who can take us to the next level. Leon can't tie us up with another Tyson Chandler signing. Stick with Mitchell Robinson. That's what it's going to be anyway. He's not. That's what it's going to be anyway. And Lee probably not going to like that, but that's pretty much the way I see it going. All right. But shout out to the chat. I hope you're enjoying the basketball talk. It was a loss. Knicks lose to the Celtics. 112 to 102. Was it 112? 116 to 102. I don't really take this loss seriously. We know none of us really take this loss seriously. If you guys didn't really miss the recap, pretty much the basis of it was we're missing OG, we're missing Randall, we're missing Mitchell Robinson. We didn't really expect to win. If we won, it would have been great. But when we have a full team, we probably would compete better. I'm proud of the guys for even sticking into the game as long as they did. They were within striking distance for mostly the entire game. But it is what it is at that point. And also, definitely shouted out Deuce McBride, who I felt like might have been the second best player on the team yesterday, between him and Josh Hart, who was challenging minutes for Alec Burks. And he's making it really hard for Tibbs to sit him down. Really hard for Tibbs to sit him down. Because even though he's not the quintessential playmaker, he's still making plays. And he was actually making plays off the dribble yesterday. So shout out to Miles McBride, who's been putting in that work. And he's making Alec Burks work for his spot, because Alec Burks played more minutes than McBride last night, but it doesn't mean he deserved to. Does not mean he deserved to.
Exactly. Right now, McBride is ahead. If it in the head-to-head matchup between him and Burks, right now McBride is leading.
Exactly. McBride is definitely leading. So keep an eye on that matchup to see how patient Tibbs is with playing Alec Burks over Miles McBride, or if Alec Burks even starts to turn it around and go from Detroit Burks to New York Burks. Definitely keep an eye on that. And also, we have a week or two, probably have a week to 3 weeks left of not having our guys here. We have guys who are close to returning in that span. We don't need Bojan to be that scorer. He's been a 3-level scorer on other teams. He can be that for us. He didn't show up last night. It seems like he has cold feet at the Garden. Hopefully those cold feet get a little bit warmer as time moves on. We needed some scoring help. Jalen Brunson had 9 assists and 34 points on excellent shooting splits. The next highest scorer was Josh Hart, who played well, but only, he was exhausted playing 40 minutes. But we needed somebody else to step up offensively. It's apparent.
Facts.
All right. So, do we have bro picks?
I mean, there's a whole lot of bro picks because a whole lot of people acting a fool this past weekend.
Oh, let's talk about it then.
Bruh.
Let's talk about it. Bro picks are, for you guys who don't know, but I think we got the KOT faithful in the chat talking Knicks basketball on a Sunday. Bro picks are usually the worst plays of the game. Sometimes it doesn't have to be the Knicks game. It could be any game that happened recently. Also, a bro pick can also be something stupid, something dumb, something idiotic that happened that you want to point out and say, this is stupid. This is dumb. All right, so we're going to get to it, the bro picks. Let's get to it. All right.
First and foremost, I'm going to start off with Jordan Poole.
Again? What the hell?
Bruh.
First bro pick. My guy has been having a terrible season. And against the Nuggets, my guy was looking to inbound the ball. And I don't know what happened, but the ball slipped out of his hands. It became a turnover. And the Nuggets ran a fast break and ended up with a dunk on the other end of the court.
Oh, my God, yo.
Bruh.
This has to be the worst case of, what do you even call this? To be one of the main reasons why the Warriors had success one year playing alongside Clay and Curry, to this is ridiculous, yo. This is wow.
It's a huge fall from grace. It's like I can't even explain as to like how this happens, honestly.
Is this straight? Is that just mental? It has to be mental, right? Like that.
It gotta be.
At that point, it has to be mental. I feel like at this point, pressure is just getting to you. Even though you shouldn't even feeling pressure because you got a ring and all, like the pressure must be getting to you. That's the only thing I can think of.
It got to be.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
My next broad pick, it's actually a mixture. It's Jabari Smith. I could kind of throw Jalen Green in there, but I think it's just Jabari Smith because against the Suns, the ball was going out of bounds. My guy tried to save the ball from going out of bounds. It hits off of Jalen Green's face, and it goes back to Jabari Smith, who catches the ball and tries to throw it and try to save it again, but his foot is on the line, and it ends up being a turnover.
Bruh. Damn. All right, 2 for 2. Man, the ball off your face pause is crazy.
Exactly. It's just wild. It's just wild. Next broad pick, Warriors and the Hornets, because apparently unwritten rules of basketball. When it's late in the game and time's running out in the fourth quarter and your team has a sizable lead, you're not supposed to take any shots. You just run out the damn clock.
Mm-hmm.
So the Warriors were up on the Hornets by I think by 12. Dude on the Warriors, Quinones, got the ball, tried to go for a layup. Miles Bridges blocked it, but he got caught for a goaltending. And then Miles Bridges went up in his face like, yo, why'd you shoot the ball? And then there was a huge scuffle between both teams. My guy Grant Williams gets into the middle of it, and him and Quinones is going head to head, butting each other's head, going back and forth talking. Then it goes over to the bench, and my guy Draymond Green is just wilding. You see, this is a family show, so I cannot repeat what Draymond Green says. But if you read his lips, you can clearly read what he says, and he's just going off on dude. And it was just a whole lot of nothing, just because the one guy decided to take a shot when his team's up by 12 with like 10 seconds left in the game.
Can you say the words that rhymed with the words that he said?
I'll just put the initials. Draymond Green, if you read his lips, he called Grant Williams a PAN. Pan.
He calls him a pan.
He called him a pan.
Damn, he called him a pan, bruh. We definitely can't say pan on this program.
Yeah, definitely not. So you gotta keep it PG. You gotta keep it PG.
You gotta keep it P. You gotta keep it P.
Facts.
Yeah, for instance, Grant Williams has been catching L's all season. Yeah, man.
Yeah, pretty much.
Poor Grant.
Another pro pick. Pelicans and the Heat.
I knew this was coming.
Another fight because my guy Zion goes up for a layup. Kevin Love stops him from going up, kind of wraps him up, and just throws him to the ground. Pelicans were feeling some type of way about it. Najee Marshall and Jimmy Butler starts going at it. Jimmy Butler kind of pushes Marshall in his chest, and then my guy Marshall goes after Jimmy Butler and grabs his neck. And then to make it worse, to the side, Jose Alvarado and Thomas Bryant start throwing hands at each other.
You know Jose's from New York. You already know he's throwing hands.
Exactly. You know Jose don't play that.
He don't play that.
And then there was video from the stands watching the fight, and then there's a Pelicans fan throwing stuff at the Heat bench.
Malice in the Palace Part 2? Damn. That's crazy. Bruh.
Yeah, that whole fight was just wild.
Hey man, I have a theory. When I saw this whole thing, I had a theory. All right. Because Knicks fans know the Heat They're the dirtiest players in the NBA. All right,
Yeah.
they just are. They're butt crack, non-washing butt crack dirty. These are dirty players. I feel like when stuff like that happens, where you cheat, like a little ticky tack foul sets you off. It's kind of like when you're carrying 1,000,000 pounds and then the feather drops on top of you and you buckle. I feel like it was a straw that broke the camel's back, because if you guys know, like, the Heat played dirty. I feel like there was dirty plays that led up to that play, and that's what pushed them over the edge. Like, that's what I like. I don't think it was that play. If that was the only foul that happened, it would have let it go. But I think they was on the edge already. Like, I'm sorry, I just refuse to believe the team that injured Julius Randle 2 consecutive seasons, injured Emmanuel quickly in the playoffs, almost took out Grimes during the game with illegal screens, stepped on Jalen Brunson's ankle while he was on the floor. That team, that dirty, disgusting, filthy, non-washing your balls in the summertime Heat team, that team, I refuse to believe that team was just playing clean basketball and all of a sudden they had that ticky back foul and then they broke up to it. I refuse to believe it.
Exactly. I don't think the foul on Zion was the type of foul where all of a sudden 2 teams are going at it fighting. Like, it wasn't that kind of foul.
Definitely wasn't that type of foul. Definitely wasn't that type of foul. So even though the Pelicans, to the naked eye, might have overreacted, I'm giving the brunt to the Heat. I don't know. I don't like it.
Facts.
It's y'all fault. It's y'all fault. Pat Riley is y'all leader. He corrupted y'all minds. The Heat culture, the engine, and do cheap shots. Yeah, it's y'all fault. Y'all did it. Lock them up.
Exactly. And speaking of nemesis,
Say it again.
Exactly.
I can't even say that because I can't speak. But I'm gonna make fun of Ryan G be the most educated person on the damn panel. Like, my bad. Go ahead.
Another broad pick goes to Paul Pierce.
Oh my God.
Because this guy was talking spicy. Like, you have people, right? Some people are able to leave their basketball playing days in the past and whatever beef that they have with that team or whatever the case may be, they're able to, be unbiased and make unbiased opinions. Like Kendrick Perkins, for example. He played on those Boston Celtics teams. I'm pretty sure he probably disliked the Knicks when he was playing ball. But now my man is an analyst and he gives unbiased opinions. And nowadays, New York rocks with Kendrick Perkins, even though he was a former Celtic.
That's a fact.
KG, another former Celtic, had an altercation with Carmelo Anthony when he was on the Knicks, played for the Celtics a few years. Probably has a bit of dislike for the Knicks as well. But he's not playing anymore, and he gives props to players on the Knicks who are playing well.
You know why? You know why, Ryan? You know why? KG wasn't drafted by the Celtics.
That is true. That is true. He was drafted by the Minnesota Timberwolves.
He was traded. It's very different.
That is true. It is very different.
But yeah, continue.
And then you have guys like Paul Pierce, where it doesn't matter if he's playing or not playing. It seems like those grudges that he used to have, he cannot let go. And this man was actually talking out his mouth, saying that he thinks the Knicks won't make it out of the first round. And he made a bet with his guys saying that if the Knicks make it out of the first round, he would wear Jalen Brunson's jersey for a week while treating his friend to like a dinner at like a fancy LA restaurant, whatever the case may be. So I'm like, all right, Paul Pierce, if that's how you feel, I hope you enjoy wearing Jalen Brunson's jersey, because that's what's going to happen. There's no way Knicks ain't making out the first round fully healthy.
Oh my God. I'm kind of glad he said that. First of all, definitely brother. I'm kind of glad he said that publicly, because Paul Pierce in a Jalen Brunson jersey, the trolling that will commence this summer will be epic.
It will be.
Nick Ryan, do you know the fun we're gonna have if we see Paul Pierce rocking a Jalen Brunson jersey for a whole week? Oh my God, it couldn't be scripted better than that. It's gonna be hilarious, man. Oh my,
Yo, like Bart Scott said, can't wait.
I can't wait.
Can't wait.
Ooh, double or nothing. 1 month. How about that? Can
Exactly.
we double or nothing that? Oh man, yo. This is
And I got one more bro pick. Because like I said, people were acting a fool this past week. I don't know what's going on in the water. Those kids that try to jump Cam Newton. Because I don't know what these kids were thinking. I don't know what happened because first of all, it looked like it was like some event where Cam Newton is like helping out teenagers or whatever the case may be. I don't know what was said. I don't know what words were exchanged, but I find it really hard to believe Cam Newton said something for kids all of a sudden just jump on. And here's the funny thing. Cam Newton was jumped by like six teenage boys.
mm,
Cam Newton is 6'5", 250,
mm,
former NFL quarterback who's used to shrugging off people
mm.
twice these kids'
They
size.
should have brought Stephen. Mm.
And it was hilarious because the first of all, one kid, he threw this kid like 50 miles stage left, just threw him like bomb. That's one kid.
Mm.
And then afterwards, they're trying to gang up on him. He has one kid held up right here. He's grabbing another kid by the dreads, and he's still fighting them off. And they couldn't damage Cam Newton at all, yo. It was like
Bruh.
nothing. It was like nothing to Cam
Good
Newton.
for them.
It was like nothing.
Good for them. Good for them. They need a good. Kids today getting too brave. Listen. This is why I've. There's a lot of shootings are up, but this is why shootings are up. Shootings are up because kids can't fight.
Exactly.
Kids can't really fight, and I don't want shootings to be up. To be honest with you, I don't want nobody being shot. I rather y'all just get your ass kicked like we used to, and learn that way.
Exactly. I mean, I'm glad they try to sell it with hands. It's just that
Me too.
it's just that they picked the wrong person to try to sell it with hands with.
That's a fact. That's a fact. But even like selling with hands on jumping somebody itself feels kind of whack. But I guess you learned it that day that you try to jump the wrong person.
Yeah, exactly. And Cam Newton was just throwing them around like rag dolls. It was just hilarious.
Yeah. Ryan G. Do you have any more?
No, that's it.
Okay, I've been struggling with this one. I kind of had this in my brain from the last episode, this bruh pick. But I have so much respect for this person that I don't want to give him a bruh pick. And it hurts my heart. It kind of hurts my heart. So I don't know, is there like a step down for bruh?
I would say whose man's is this, but
That's a step up. Whose man is this? Is like bruh times five. That's
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
super
I
saiyan
don't think whose man's is this. So I don't think there's a step down. It's either bruh or you go with the worst one. Whose man's is this?
I don't even want to hit the bruh butt. All right. My brew pick. My brew pick goes. It goes to the mellow and Mero, man.
Ah, damn.
I would love any of y'all on the show, like
Facts.
dead ass. So
100.
please, if y'all ever watch this, please don't take this personally, please, because I actually love you guys. And actually, it was a good episode too that I watched. It was a really great episode. There was just one segment of the episode that annoyed me. And it was the segment about trading Mitchell Robinson.
Yeah, I heard that.
And it's not even necessarily because they're spitballing the idea of trading Mitchell Robinson. That's not why, even though I'm against it. It's the premise in which they set it up with. Like they didn't know the facts around the conversation, and it made the conversation weird. So in the episode, Melo pretty much was like, you know what? Can we get Robinson for the low? We need to trade him. I bet you the Knicks wish they traded Mitch Robinson at the trade deadline. Bruh. And if you guys know who follow us or follow, Mitch is on Mitch is on a descending contract for the next few years, which means we don't need to get Mitchell Robinson for the low. Like he said, he's under contract. So there is no real incentive to trade Mitchell Robinson at the trade deadline unless a big star just happens to be available at the trade deadline, which there wasn't. So the whole premise of the conversation just screamed like I don't know what the facts are. If there was anybody to have that conversation about, it might have been Hartenstein, because Hartenstein is the guy who's performing really well this season, and the Knicks might try to keep him for the low. So the whole conversation was just, it was off. And then they used that conversation with the wrong information and put it out as a promo. So like I saw it live while watching the episode, and then I saw it as the promo. And I'm just sitting there like, why would somebody pick this as the promo? Like, I know exactly what they were thinking. They were thinking trade Mitch is when you talk about trades in general, people look at that and it piques their interest. It's like, it's almost quickly, trade conversation, click. Whenever people talk about, listen, trade season comes along, KOT be popping with K. Every channel pops during trade season. Every freaking year. Been doing this for 3 years. Every time it's trade season, engagement goes up. Every single year.
Yeah.
Every single year. So that's the only reason why I know they feel like, let's put trade Mitch conversation, put it out there. But the information was just wrong. It was just wrong. And they shouldn't have said it. So it hurts me to say it because I love Melo. And I love what he did. And I love Melo and his content. I love what he did with the Bodega Boys. And even he knows his Knicks stuff. He knows his Knicks stuff. But that was just, bruh. It was wrong information.
Facts. And to kind of like harp on that conversation, please. I think it was in that same conversation about Mitch being traded. I think Melo was discussing like what the Knicks lineup should be, and he mentioned Bogdanovic being at the 2. And I'm just like, Melo, are you trying to commit defensive suicide right now? Like, are you trying to commit defensive suicide with the Knicks?
Exactly. Bogdanovic at the 2? And he can shoot? Man, oh my gosh. I feel like basketball is more than shooting. Shooting is a big part of basketball, but basketball is more than shooting.
Exactly. Then you already have Dante DiVincenzo who's playing the 2, and he can actually shoot the ball, and he plays defense and defends the 2s better than Bogdanovic ever can. So it's like, that don't even make no type of sense whatsoever.
But he can't say nothing because he's Melo.
Yeah, you can't really say nothing.
He's Melo.
But it's just crazy thinking. I'm just like, damn, come on, Melo. Like, don't let me lose hope in your basketball knowledge, man. You play ball, son. Come on.
Like Ryan G, we was on that panel. We said, yo, Melo, you can't do that. That sounds crazy. You probably look at this like, y'all never played a game of NBA basketball in your life. How dare you even speak to me in this manner? And I'm like, but
exactly.
I'm sorry.
Exactly. And then we gonna have to shut up because it's like, yo, he right though. We ain't never played the NBA, so I mean, I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I just watch the games.
This is what it is. I don't know, man. All right, man. We talked enough. We talked enough. I have no more bro picks. That was the only one that was in my heart, and I held it. I held that bro pick for 2 episodes, right? Until they put the clip out on the internet, and they forced my hand. I was gonna go to the grave with that because I had respect for Melo, man. I was gonna go to the grave, but I had to do it. I'm sorry. All right, that was the show. Paris is like Precious for $7 million. He's gonna be like, Precious definitely leaving for $7 million. But shout out to Paris Duggar, Paris to Fritz Alexander, Paris to Picks. I mean, shout out to Paris Duggar. Shout out to Fritz Alexander. Shout out to Picks for Timmy. Shout out to Keith Watkins, JT Reddick, Coach Sire 617, Sherwin, and everybody else is rocking with the show. If you like the show, hit that like and subscribe. I feel like we had more fun talking about the bro picks in the actual game.
In fact. Yeah, I think the butt picks was very well needed after that Knicks Celtics game last night.
Exactly, which is why you come to KOT in the first place, all right? Because listen,
Bruh.
hit all the wrong buttons. Because listen, sometimes the games be depressing, you want to laugh and have some fun, and this is a segment when we laugh and have some fun, all right? So shout out to you guys who enjoy the KOT show. We will be back. We will be back tomorrow versus the Detroit Pistons. Matter of fact, wait, what's the next few games? Hold on.
I know the Knicks do have a tough next 10 games, but the Pistons is like one of the breaks in the schedule. But let me see.
Pistons, Pelicans, Warriors, Cavs, Hawks, Magic, Sixers.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, the Knicks have a pretty tough schedule. The only team that you could really say is a quote unquote break, and then even then it's like the Knicks can't take that game lightly, because if they take that game lightly, they might be upset. So it's really only the Pistons and the Hawks. Everybody else is over 500.
That's a fact. The Magic, every time we play the Magic, we're freaking decimated, and it pisses me off. Like, we play the Magic on Friday, March 8th. I hope to God that OG is back by then.
Yeah, I'm hoping too.
I would like to have some actual size to play against that long ass team, because it's mad annoying.
Facts.
So hopefully OG's back that game. The schedule makers having the Knicks play the 76ers back to back is crazy.
For real. And both of them are home games for the Knicks too. Like, it's back to back at home.
What? The schedule makers just run out of time. It was like, here. That's crazy. That might be a tough week, although it seems like we've had their numbers so far and we've beaten them the last game. I'm still not sleeping on them. The game we won was a tough game. It was definitely a tough game. But we definitely can beat them for sure.
Facts.
We can at least split that, I feel. At least.
At least a split, yeah. No, yeah. Knicks at least taking one of them, at least.
At least, yeah. Portland, we should be able to take. The Kings. The Golden State Warriors have been playing better. That might actually be a tough game.
Yeah, especially being in Golden State.
Yeah, absolutely. And then the Cavs are always going to show up for us for what we did to them in the playoffs. Yeah. Hopefully we'll have. Will we have bodies back then? I'm not sure. It would be great to have OG back then, but I feel like more realistic might be the 8th, if anything. But we'll keep our eye on that. They'll keep an eye on it.
Yeah. Cavaliers is too soon. I think we're gonna probably have the same lineup that we have now.
For sure. All right. All right, man. That's the show. Thank you guys for watching. We'll be back talking Knicks versus Pistons tomorrow, live after the game. I'm thankful that my stream didn't shut down, because last post game my stream shut down, and my stream a little bit weird before we started, but it's got it together now. It got it together. So I'm glad about that. All right. So that is our show. Thank you guys for watching. Ryan G, let them know where they can find you, man.
You can find me on Twitter at RyanGKOT. You can also find me on Instagram at Sir G is chilling.
Sir G is chilling.
That's SIR. G is CHILLIN.
All right. Also, you can find us at the KOT Show on Twitter, the Knick of Time Show on Instagram, and the Knick of Time Show on Facebook as well. Shoot, I probably need to start promoting like our merch and stuff again. You know what's funny, Ryan? Out of all the merch that I've made RJ Barrett merch, made Enos Cantor merch, made all the merch. Do you know what's the top selling t-shirt for KOT?
Ninja P?
Nope.
Block this now. It wasn't Mitchell Robinson?
Ron Baker.
Ron Baker, really?
Ron Baker is the top selling KOT t-shirt.
Oh.
By like a mile.
Say word.
By a mile, yo. I looked at my Etsy the other day and I was like, what the hell? 2 Ron Baker shirts purchased. It's on the KOT Etsy, yo. Yes, the Ron Baker shirt with the mask. People still love that. It's crazy. Yeah, we had KP merch when he was here. Maybe the Porzing, when KP was here, the Porzing God hat.
Yeah.
Hey man, KOT was the first person to actually sell like the branded hats. So shout out. But we used to sell Porzingis hats. People used to buy that. Usually used to love that. And the Porzingis shirt. But then yeah, Ron Baker. Crazy.
Fact, shout out Ron Baker, former Knick great.
Former Knick great Ron Baker. Shout out to you. Might have to start pushing Ron Baker shirts harder. It's still going. It was KOT Legends. Ron Baker. Yeah, put it on a KOT Legends shirt. All right. That is the show. Thank you guys for watching. You can find us at the KOT Show on Twitter, the Knick of Time Show on Instagram, and Knick of Time Show on Facebook as well. If you like the show, hit that like, subscribe, and share. We have every Knicks game talking Knicks basketball, almost every Knicks game. But we'll be here most Knicks games after almost every Knicks game talking Knicks basketball. That's the show. Thank you guys for watching, and as always,
shout out the worldwide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
Some mess out here in these Knicks YouTube streets. That's the show. We out this mug.
Peace.
New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.